we could do that now or after this at your convenience. And then I think we're going to use that also in text, and we'll put it on the website. Additionally, one thing that we would love to do, and this is something that I want to put out there for all of our affiliates, is I also want to grab a card link that you would want people to come across if you want us to provide your card link in addition to your testimonial. I think twofold. It gives people an example of how you're using Elify technology to support yourself, firstly. And secondly, I think it would provide some exposure to you from the interwebs out there of people who might come across your testimonial and say, oh, wow, what is her car? Oh, wow, I want to reach out to her. You know what I mean? And again, I don't want to do it if you think it's going to be too much coming in on you. So great. And then we can just coordinate a time or whatnot on that as well. Katie, good to see you. I know it's early out there. What time is it? Is it 8 or 7?
6.
6. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't realize how far back even from Pacific you are. Like, Pacific is like East Coast time for you.
Yeah, it's 3. So East Coast is 6 hours difference now.
Okay. And is that just due to time change?
Well, yeah, because we don't change our time here.
Lucky ducks.
So we're just beautiful time zone all the time.
Yeah. I'm waiting for us to wise up. I know there was some stuff that got passed legally where we're not supposed to spring forward or fall back at some point in time. We're not going to change, but I don't know when that's supposed to take place or if it ever will.
It really messes up a lot of stuff, and it messes up the sleeping cycle. I don't know how animals adapt to it. I mean, come on, animals, how do they know when to spring forward or whatever? They just know
they don't, right?
Yeah, really. So it's just nuts.
A good tip for your calendar: don't ever set your calendar to daylight savings time, because if you set it at the regular time, it will automatically adjust to daylight savings time. You don't have to set it. Otherwise, you're going to be really screwed up.
Yeah. Well, and what's crazy, and I think this brings us into like affiliates a little bit. We're interacting with people, not just regionally, not just nationally, in some cases globally at any one day, and trying to coordinate that all the time. I found myself more often than not over the last probably 2 to 3 years where I preface it with like, what time zone when I'm talking to people, because most people are used to, oh, let's meet at 3 p.m. Well, 3 p.m. where you're at might be completely different. It's like, hey guys, we're meeting at 10 a.m. Mountain Time right now for those of us in Colorado, but for Katie, this is 6 a.m. So big kudos to Katie for getting up early for this. We appreciate you. Let's kick this off. Anybody have any celebrations for this week? Yeah, go ahead, James.
Well, only celebration I got is I want to say how great Elify and the crew is. I consistently look at all the great things that happen. I'm out here talking about the company, and I've been posting the hashtag Go Elify, and it's been growing and growing, and I see all the content that come out of it. So my win was our win.
Yeah.
The fact that what we're doing, it is growing across the board. Everybody's liking, loving. People are like, hey, I seen that Elify thing. Hey, I seen that digital card. I talked to several people who are saying that, well, I have the dot already. I said, well, see, you're just a spot on the map. Elify is all over the map. So let's get that replaced. So that is my win, is our win. And I do want to send a shout out to my guy. This is the guy who talks to us on here, but this is a technical crazy nut. And this is a number. I'm a numbers guy. I found what's the better numbers. If you're needing anything like what does Elify do? What is the number of this? How are we benefiting? Have a one-on-one with Guy, and he will fill up your notebook with all the cliff notes you need on how to talk about how great this company is. I'm sorry, how great your company is, because it's yours and mine.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I'm gonna shift it over to Guy, who's about to say something in the beginning.
You know what? I kudos to you. Kudos to the network and the way that you're going about this. I think people can take a page from your playbook here. You are a product of the product. You're out there interacting daily with multiple people. you're at coffee meetings, you're at lunch meetings, breakfast meetings, dinner meetings, and you're taking the time to have a conversation with them about their businesses and how they're getting information out about what they do. You know, you've got people that own gyms, nutritionists, all these different types of individuals that are either starting or have been around. And we're playing in a different sandbox these days, right? We have to be digital, and being able to provide in-depth conversations with them on getting information out about what they're doing. You're essentially getting people to sign up at that point because they see the value that you're bringing to them through the platform. And it's allowing them to leave your meeting with a resource to share with all of their clientele, and all of their clientele in turn can identify something that can be utilized by them in each one of their businesses. We're all business owners, and we all have to be able to have conversations with people about what they do, learn about their frictions, about how they go about their daily business lives, and saying that we are changing, we are evolving, we have to evolve. Technology is forcing us to do this. And if we don't, if we want to stay in our comfort zone is where we will die. That's as plain as it can be. We will fail in our comfort zone. Success will only come being comfortable, being uncomfortable, right? We've got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. We've got to really pressure ourselves to go off and do these types of things. And it definitely comes natural to you, James. And that's why I want to, almost every post that I see from you, acknowledge that. And I put in the hashtag #GoElify and the fire, because you're on fire. These people see this and they resonate back to you that you've brought them referrals. You've brought a way for them to get information out about them. And you're now being seen as the social connector, the person that if you want to get information out about what you do, I've got this friend, James, who will sit down pretty much any time of the day with you to learn about what you're doing and how this Elify platform can be so beneficial to you. So I just want to say kudos to you in those efforts. They're efforts we can all take in our everyday lives. It can be today, it can be tomorrow. But again, if we're not comfortable doing those, we've got to become comfortable, because that's just the way that it's going to go. We talked about it a lot in our networking event on Wednesday of the U economy. And it's here.
Happening.
People can close their eyes and plug their ears and hope that it goes away, but it's not. It's here. This is the way that people are having to find additional businesses. Bills are starting to pile up. The economy is changing. Take control. We all have the ability to take control, and we all have to get comfortable with doing that. It's an uncomfortable thing to do, but we all have to do that, or we will rest on our laurels and watch inflation happen and our paycheck go down for the same amount of work, or layoffs and all these different types of things that are happening today. There's got to be a voice out there. There's got to be a reason why people need to take it upon themselves, take control, and get up and do what we're supposed to be doing.
It's amazing you say that, Guy. It was just on my local news. They said about the huge increase of people doing side hustles.
That's it.
People are changing and adding their businesses, and because going 9 to 5, you're not going to survive. It's just not going to happen. You working as long as the boss can use you till you fall apart so they can stay wealthy and you not wise. You know, you got to seek wise counsel and understand that the job that you're doing is not there for you, you're there for it. So take that knowledge, take the knowledge that these guys and these gals have and build. Elify is a company I wish I had got into 10 years ago and you guys got started. Man, I wish I had. But I'm here now and I'm actually running with it. And I thank you guys for those kind words and those, you know, of me out here working, but I'm just one.
Yep.
But you know, one person can do something, other person can see and copy. I'm not doing nothing nobody else can do. Have a coffee break, have a lunch break, because guess what? You're gonna do that anyway that day. But have with somebody you haven't talked to in a while, somebody brand new, or somebody you've been wanting to do. Matter of fact, make it a coffee council. Hey, you know what, ER? I've been wanting to make sure my buddy Guy met you. So once you guys sit down and have coffee together, and make that warm handoff or the warm production
absolutely
work out for you. Don't always have to be the person that's getting a check, but check who you're with and what they're teaching you to do.
Yep.
Back to you.
I love it. No, I love it. And I want to validate that we're all in good company here. Just what Guy, you were saying, and James, what you were practicing. Anna, you talked about the same thing on Wednesday when you talked about being uncomfortable. And you know, I'm paraphrasing what you said there on Wednesday and shared that. But, you know, being in that position is what got you on TV and all these other things with success in your business. And I think that rings true for a lot of us. You know, we have to stretch ourselves in order to grow. And a lot of us tend to default to being comfortable. And eventually we watch as things pass us by, right? And not us, but in general terms here. And I think that's critical. I also think, James, what you're talking about, right? We are all just one individual, but there are some synergies that get created. And I know that term gets used out of context all the time, but what I'm talking about is when the impact is greater than just the individual sums of all of the parts. And I think that's a huge piece here. When we're all working towards a common goal and doing it to the best of our abilities, you know what I mean? That, as I always say, high tide raises all ships. And when we can all work together and learn from each other in that abundance mentality, we all get a benefit as well, collectively and individually. And I think in closing on this, Anna, before you get going back to that whole shift that we're seeing taking place in the U economy. And this is something that I don't know if it's my superpower or whatnot, but I've always had this uncanny ability to change my perspective in the way that I look at things as a whole, take a step back, step out of my own self and look at everything in a bigger picture objectively and see what's going on. And what's crazy is, I mean, hindsight is 20/20 for us all, but imagine if you could have seen the world. Like, I watched a video the other day and I'll share it in social. It's a guy from like IBM in 1974. And, you know, the dad brings his son to work day and he's like, look at little Tommy. And you can see the computers and they're building, you know, it's a whole floor of a building in the 1970s, guys. And the guy with this, you know, IBM pocket protector type of guy sitting there in his white shirt and his glasses saying, you know, can you imagine a day where everybody's going to have a personal computer in their home? And this is going to allow us to accomplish this and accomplish this and accomplish this. Guys, when you look at things, you have to look at the trending patterns and you say, wow, the world is changing and it's going to continue to change. To Guy's point, things are not going to get less digital. So the moment you realize that and you can leverage that to your advantage individually and then be a part of that change collectively is the moment you get to capitalize on all of that. And there are going to be people who look up 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, who were resting comfortably and they open their eyes and the world has changed, right? And the world has changed. Because even that guy from the IBM thing, it's like, he wasn't imagining that the world in 2023 was going to be a bunch of office buildings filled with, you know, big mainframe computers. No, he had the foresight to say, like, this is going to have a major impact. I think the last piece is being a product of the product, guys. The whole goal here is Elify has tools that you can use to do what you are currently doing better. And by doing that every day, what you currently do, it exposes other people to what we do. You know what I mean? So just as much as we want you guys to say, carve out time slots to focus on building your Elify business, just by leveraging Elify in your existing ventures, you're making an impact, not just in your success of that venture, but in the exposure. And that's where we always come alongside people and say, we're not trying to change what you do. We're trying to help you do what you do better by leveraging technology. And we all have these areas of our business where we can come in and use tap to share, or use a shuffle page to supplement information that we might be sharing out over and over and over again manually. All of those things play a role in exposing to others how this technology can help and support them as well, because we're all a product of the product. So Anna, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. And I so love you guys' wisdom, the pair of you, from your different points of view. It's amazing. But I want to bring up something that you brought up on Wednesday, ER, and that's follow-up. Mm-hmm. It is a great thing to step back and look at the big picture and know, what can happen, but it's essential to pay attention to those details and follow up with your clients. My big win this week is that I had a mover and a shaker, a woman who speaks all over the world. Yeah. She was canceling her Elify accounts. And I'm trying to reach out to her, find out what was going on. Yeah. I had to make an appointment. Now, I made that appointment on February 7th.
Wow.
That appointment was yesterday. That's how her schedule runs. Okay. Well, she's coming back on board because we took a look at the big picture, and she was focused on the little issues. Yeah. And we actually, went through the entire process. We identified a bigger scope. We updated her tap card, which I had offered to do at any point in time, but she forgot. She forgot. And I said, if it's going to take me 4 weeks to get an appointment with you, you're not going to get the benefit of this card. So you need to dedicate one person who works with this program and me directly. Yep. And she has authorized one person for 2 hours a week, 1 hour for Elify training on Tuesdays. Yay, Tuesday Tech. And she's taking that out to 4 organizational meetings, over 100 people each over the next few weeks.
I love it.
So it pays to follow up, even if it takes. And now we're set for regular appointments, and that's the key, because she will affect thousands of others just because she's using her little tap card and sharing. And we talked about creating a free card with her company's background.
Yep.
And getting that out to every single client that she has in her database on a quarterly basis at the very least. If nothing else, they get the free card. If they use it, great. But if they use it, they're going to want to do more.
Exactly.
And that's how it grows. So yes, follow up. The details are important in the follow up. Remember that our world is becoming automated.
Yes.
And the vast majority of small businesses don't think they can automate because they're so small. But the fact is, there's actually a bank, an online bank dedicated to working with small businesses and partnering, which we're going to talk about, with organizations that provide services, automated services to those small businesses, and actually running those through their bank.
I love it.
And doing the trainings, et cetera. So we definitely want to talk about that. But yes, side gig. Yes, you can automate. It doesn't matter how big or small you are. There are 5 basic areas that you can automate fairly easily, but follow up.
Oh man, Guy, I don't know.
And thank you.
Yeah, I know I do.
I just want to speak to that, Anna. That's a leader. That you are being a leader, and that's what we hope, right? What I had mentioned on Wednesday is the unrealistic, like have those big types of my unrealistic dream and goal is to have everyone be leaders.
Yeah.
And to practice that every day, whether it's by influencing or by leading by example. You are leading by example. You're saying you're missing the picture. maybe it's a little softer of a message you're delivering back,
Right.
but the picture is being missed on what we can accomplish, on what we can do. So at the end of the day, you're being a leader, you're finding ways to influence people, and this will in turn allow this individual to influence others in a way to get that information out, right? When I talk about the information, I'm talking about the people's passion and what they're doing.
Yep.
And so many people have passions, but don't talk about it and don't get it out there. And they're not practicing, because I'm seeing here in chat talking about practice. Practice makes it easier. People aren't practicing getting information out about what they're passionate about. And so reaching back out, following up, getting on the schedule to say, we've got to have another conversation, because there's so much that can be done here to support you, your business, your passions. And that's as simple as a message to anyone in anything on how Elify can be implemented anywhere.
I mean, Guy, if I can just compliment what you're saying, I mean, we talk about it all the time. The fortune is in the follow-up. And again, I'm stunned every day when I see that statistic where 50% of people don't follow up even a single time. Like, imagine the amount of lost opportunity that's just sitting in your list right now. So Anna, the fact that you bring that up, it's just so critical that we must implement the follow-up process. And I think this is one of those things where I mentioned it on Wednesday. Best advice I ever received was, if you want a result, you have to believe that result exists, but belief alone won't get you the result. It's belief plus action that gets the result. And action is probably the most critical component in taking action on anything that we're working on. These are universal truths, right? They're not applicable specifically or only or exclusively to Elify, right? Follow-up is something that you should do universally in every relationship that you have, and the impact that it can have in whatever you're doing will be monumentally greater than defaulting to no follow-up itself. But also with the action and implementing follow-up, carrying it over to implementing usage of the technology, guys. And I think this is why things like Tech Tuesday are so important when we brainstorm together on ways to use the technology, because there are multiple areas of all of our lives and in all of our ventures and across all of our businesses where we can leverage the technology. And Anna, to your point, like when you see somebody who is, they love the idea, they signed up, but they don't implement. I mean, I imagine that's probably one of the critical components on why that person was potentially leaving, is because they never implemented it. And on the converse of that, something else we see is those who implement become in essence the diehard fans. We see it statistically on our end. If you find a tool that you can no longer live without, you know what I mean? And you use it every single day, it becomes invaluable to you. You know what I mean? Guy, you and I were on with Kimberly, and you guys know Kimberly does social, but she also has another venture. Like many of us have multiple businesses. And she said, you know what? For the last 3-4 years, I've been using Elify so much in my primary business. It has like the methods of operation for my employees. It has the check-in at the QR code when people are dropping off. She runs like a pet boarding center as one of her businesses. You know, somebody's dropping off a pet and they're scanning the QR code with all of the information that typically they're asking her. You know what I mean? Oh, here it all is. Scan this. You'll have all our information on the phone, everything. She's like, this has immersed itself into many aspects of my business, and I cannot see running my business without this. You know, if the people that you're talking to, you're, to James's point, exploring what their needs are and then identifying areas where they can be leveraging this. And that's why I think it's important on our own side to say, where can we be leveraging Elify in our own businesses? Because that gives us more talking points on all those things. Scheduling appointments, great. Use a shuffle card to help with that. You know what I mean? Sending out information, promoting, introducing yourself. All of these are just different methodologies. But when you have one universal solution that's applicable to all of those, and then you meet somebody and they experience just one of those use cases, and that's the what is this, or how are you doing that, opens up the whole door to say, like, oh, I'm not just using this here. Like, I use this here and here and here and here and over here too. And it just has so many different uses. They're going to start to self-identify those areas as well. And I think that's what creates the excitement, that somebody says, oh, I can see that this solution is valuable and I would love to leverage this solution as well. But then there's that final piece, getting them to leverage it, getting them to implement it. Because once that takes place and it becomes a daily habit, or they're a daily active user, I will tell you right now, from an affiliate perspective, you will have a referral that lasts a lifetime. If it's solely focused on the goal of enrollment, like, hey, go get signed up, and then you're off to the next one, you're not going to have a lot of retention, and this is why that's a variable that's different for a lot of people within Elify. We have people, they went in and they just like put people on, but there was no support. There was no education. There was no bringing them into the community. There was no that type of stuff. And then there was frustration why the people I onboarded didn't stick around, right? On the other end, you have people who I'm more methodical in my pace. I'm looking for the right people to help and support and bring into my community. And the impact that it has is so great because they're sticking around, they're becoming a part of the community, they're showing up to things. That's the intent. That's the intent. Now you have somebody who sticks around and all of a sudden you're building your income stream.
There's one thing I want to add to this, because
yes,
you're talking about onboarding and supporting compared to onboarding and looking at the next.
Yeah.
Get the next, which a lot of business sales is the next. And maybe someone else is there to support, or maybe it's just a one-time purchase and something of that sort. But I know on Wednesday we asked, best business advice, worst business advice falls into this type of category. The worst business advice that I had ever heard: other people can make you happy. No, they can't. They can make you a cup of coffee, but they can't make you happy. So that would be almost like an affiliate program where all I'm going to do is onboard people and sign them up. And then I'm just going to look at my bottom line and how much money I'm going to be making. And hopefully they stay on, compared to how am I going to make myself happy?
Yeah.
I'm going to support them. I'm going to educate them. I'm going to bring them along. I'm going to reach back out to them. I'm going to follow up. I'm going to do what it takes because I'm running a business.
Yeah.
They're all now business owners, and I want to support them in their business. That is that giver's gain. We're all working together to support business and grow business.
Yeah.
But by signing people up and you making $1, they're not going to make you happy, because they're not going to see the value. You've got to support them and bring them along and show them the value of whatever you're offering is to them. It doesn't just have to be Elify.
Yeah.
It can be your other services.
Yeah.
There's so many people that chase opportunities, right? Here's a new opportunity. I joined. I invite people. It didn't happen for me. It's not them. It's not the product, or it's the product. It's not me.
That's right.
There's a new thing over here. I jump over here, and people, it's because we're not bringing value to what I'm offering. And I'm not bringing value to the individuals that I'm bringing into this. If I'm offering a nutraceutical, I'm going to be a product of the product. I'm going to use it. I'm going to, before I'd ever talk about it to anybody, I'm going to make sure that it works for me. And then I start talking and bringing people into the fold on what I'm taking or what I'm doing. And I'm going to encourage them to stay the course. I'm going to reach out to them probably from a leadership aspect, being a leader, trying to influence daily.
Yeah.
I'm going to reach out to them to see how things are going. Maybe they're my 6 a.m. text. They're the first one to just checking in on how they're doing. They'll make me happy when I see that they see the value, when they are experiencing the results that you're experiencing.
Yeah.
There's so much that happens that is totally opposite of that.
Well,
and that's why you have so many people looking at the, the new wave or the side hustles and doing all these. We're going to find a ton of people join and a ton of people leave. True. And a ton of people join something else and a ton of people leave because they're out there expecting, I'm going to do this side hustle and I'm going to go over here on their commission calculator and it shows I'm going to make $20,000 this month. And I didn't make 2. And it wasn't that, it wasn't me, it was that program. We've got to look at that from an opportunity aspect and say a lot more opportunity is done when I'm supporting people, when I'm here to help them, when I'm here to influence and show why I joined, why I'm a part of this. I'm going to practice this to the best of my ability, either scheduling time or in my free time.
Yep.
But I'm not going to waste time because we don't have time to waste.
Yep. 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 I love the what's in it for them type of thing versus what's in it for me. I think anytime I've ever been self-focused, it's never resulted in what it would have been if I had been them focused across the board on things, Guy. And I think at the end of the day, that's really what this is about, guys. The cake itself in Elify is the technology, right? And helping yourself with the technology and helping others with the technology. The icing on the cake is the fact that you get a reward for being a part of it. You know what I mean? But if you make it all about the icing, it's just, you
have no cake to put it on.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think that's an important thing. James, go ahead. Yep.
All right. I had stuff note written down here and guys started talking. I had to add to my notes. Thank you, my friend. And, product of the product. Okay. I'm going to just tell y'all something I do that I say multiple times. I'm just going to say it out. Are we actually utilizing Shuffle fully? This is how a meeting goes for James. You can take it, not take it, or whatever. When I sit down and meet with Jay, me and Jay meet for the first time, I pull up my phone. Hey, Jay, let me get your card, man. Even though I may have his card already, I would take a picture of his card and I actually let him see me loading it into Elify. And I go to notes. Met with Jay today at Panera Bread. We're going to talk about business. And I actually hit save. And I put it on the table that he can see it. What are you doing? Oh, I'm actually adding your card to my system. This is my company Shuffle I use to track everybody. And then I'm gonna make an appointment later. I'm gonna set up a follow-up appointment. I go right to follow up and I say, well, let's meet again, blah, blah, blah. And I set that to Elify as a note. Hold up, Jay, let's take a picture of us together, bro. I gotta make sure I promote your business out there for people. I take that picture and I have it saved. Now I actually calculate in there another 10 to 15 minutes after the meeting that we're gonna talk. Hey, Jay, I gotta make sure before you leave that I get you your free Elify card. So when I promote you, everybody knows who you are. And I walk him through, I have him set up. Real quick, Jay, go ahead and text me your business card so I can have it in my system. Well, go back to the card I saved you. Now you got to save your card the right way. Even though I already initially had him saved in the phone, I make him go and I now have him hit card index. So Jay now downloads the app. I take his digital card and I do my social media post. Met with Jay, great guy. You need to reach out to him. Here's his digital card. If you need to contact me, here's mine. Here's the catch-all. Somebody just said something in the chat that y'all didn't see was gold. Updating your card regularly causes things. I go my card every so often and I just go to my subject what I'm talking about and I hit spacebar, save. Everybody who has your card now gets your card is updated. Oh, what did James do? They look at it, but there's nothing they can see. But you know what? It triggers them. Let me give James a call to follow up with them. Doesn't cost you anything. I told you a couple months ago there was a glitch somehow. The system I put in there, James the man, and we went to fix the ER. Never got fixed. Don't fix it. Because it's still, I see people card now and they say, well, how do I find you? Just go into your system, type in demand, and I pop up. Put a little in your name, put something catchy. You know, you could put, it could be Anna Wise Hour Brooks. And when they type your name, they'll look for the Wise Owl. You're making them know what you're. I'm Guy, the connector. Whatever. Those little small little niches, when they're looking at their phone, they think, oh, you know what? The guy, that's a connector. I know the connector guy. Hey, I know the wise person. I know the man to talk to about things. Those little small things. Needing this practice is perfect. Get you better. If you're not going to the system and touching all the things that the system has offered, there are still things to this day that we have not known that the system available. Did you know you can use your tags to actually calculate who you're meeting with? Did you know you can go in your tag and say, you know what, I've got 50 people I've met tagged from this networking group, but you know what, I've only talked to 5 of them. Now I have a follow-up list of people to call upon. Right. Did you know that you could actually go into your system, excuse me, and actually add that person's front and back business card? So when you share it, wow, did you need to take that business card and make that picture, that card, the picture that shows up in your phone for contacts? Yeah. There's so much stuff that we have out there, but we got to tell people. I mean, I'm gonna point them out. Mike Snow said he don't longer pays for a CRM. And I'm like, why not? You don't need to. CRM, lead generation, follow-up, promotion, everything is inside Elify and Shuffle. Yeah. It's about to become summertime. Everybody has a festival, a graduation, a family union that they want to tell people about. Everybody, put your hand down if you've never seen a post on your Facebook saying, hey, share this post for me. Yeah. You can't put your hand up because you know you got to do, take that post that they made, make that a promo card and send it back to them. Would this help? It sure would. You just made a friend and a new client. Yeah. All that being said, when I posted, but if somebody becomes a client, you gotta set up a initial meeting, onboarding. This is how the process is going to look. You got set a setup appointment. Let me help you create your card, and I'm going to physically show you how to work it back and forth and do a post. And then you got to do a follow-up and say, how's it working for you? Why are those things important, James? Because isn't that what you want somebody to do with you? If they give you something, don't you want them to follow up and tell you how to do? It's the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. If you're doing the golden rule for others, they will do it to you. So closing statement. Practice makes perfect. So start practicing with the account that you have, because like Anna said, the young lady, she never utilized it, so she got rid of it. How can you talk about it if you're not using it? Back to you.
No, I think this is so important. I think we're starting to see some reoccurring themes as we have our discussion today, guys. I mean, at the end of the day, having a tool is great, but not if you don't use it, right? Having a tool is amazing, but not if you don't use it. And in my lifetime, like I've come across some amazing tools, and I'll be the first to admit there are some things that I bought that I never used, you know, or they didn't do what the tool said they were going to do, right? Like, but then on the other side, there are tools that I've come across that I bought, and when I use them, the amount of time they saved me, the result that they generated, the efficiencies that they created, all of those types of things made them invaluable tools that I still use every day, you know, to date. And I think that's one of those things that individually for each one of us, we want to find how we, yeah, I mean, Katie, you've got that tool right there. I mean, we, in all aspects of what we're doing, there are those types of things. But the key is once you get a tool, you have to leverage it in order to realize the benefit of that tool. And then you want to be consistent in the practice of that, to James's point, because practice makes you better. It eventually improves everything over time, you know, and there's so much functionality that I come across that I'm like, man, if every single one of us leveraged every single one of the functional aspects, it would create these types of efficiencies that would actually solve problems that we're manually solving or experiencing on a daily basis. And it's not just that I have that goal for us individually. I have that goal, like Guy said, for everybody. Like I imagine how much opportunity is just wasted across humanity on any given day. It's almost hard to think about or even quantify. And not that we can change the world, but we can have an impact. We can change the world. You know what I mean? But we all have to, one, implement it ourselves, and two, show or expose to other people. And what I know when James, you're telling that, you're not doing it for the sake of showing them, hey, let me, you're doing it for your benefit. Like, let me scan your business card. Well, why? Because I don't want it to just gather dust on my desk or get thrown away. I'm gonna give it back to you and I'm gonna have it in my database. You know, I'm gonna set the follow-up. Oh, you do that? Yeah. Like, I have a process or a system I run, and that's what's created success in my business. And other business owners see, well, I may be not leveraging a proper process or system or tool, and therefore I'm struggling in that area of my business. That's an opportunity for us to help them and come alongside them and show them that there's a tool, a system, or a process that they can implement that they can benefit from. And I'm not saying that, you know, Elify and Shuffle and Tap are the all things to all people, but I'm saying that they do play valuable roles in things that a majority of people are doing every day. And a lot of them just aren't doing it very efficiently. Danon, you've got your hand up. Go ahead. And then Anna will get to you in a second. Drive safe, Danon, if you're driving around, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm keeping my eyes on the road, so if it
Please.
looks like I'm not paying y'all.
No, you're doing good. Hopefully the weather's nice in Chicago.
Oh, well, so far so good. Today we can have 60 degrees.
Nice.
Okay, now, as far as Shuffle is concerned, when you know how when a person goes try and start a business and they ask you, or try to get a loan for a business, and they ask you, do you have a website? Are you able to use Shuffle due to the fact that it has a URL as a website?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, again, when we talk about the biggest gap, Danon, I see for small business specifically is the lack of an online presence. I've mentioned this on so many calls, guys, that 40%, okay, I'm going to keep throwing out these statistics, 40% of businesses lack an online presence, okay? Use that for what it's worth. 99% of the businesses that are registered in the United States are small businesses. There are 32 million businesses registered in the United States. That's like something like 15 million businesses out there that are looking to create or update their online presence, guys. Shuffle can play that role in creating the online presence. And here's the savings and the benefit. Don't have to register a domain, Danon. Don't have to pay for hosting, right? Don't have to hire a webmaster unless you want to outsource the work. Immediate real-time updating. It's live at time zero the moment you save it. You know what I mean? There are all these benefits. And we know multiple people on the platform who are masking their URLs or redirecting their URLs so that if they do want a specific URL, you know, Danon's company abc.com can still point to a Shuffle card. But even the Elify address alone, it is your presence. So it could be a single page website. I think that's where things are trending to. It can be a micro site that you link a few Shuffle pages together, and that becomes your presence. And now you have an online presence. And to Danon's point, if you're trying to get business loans, if they want to see more of the context that you are a legitimate business, you have a presence out there, you have a site out there, you have a business card, all of that type of stuff, you can do that on the platform and you can do it very quickly. That's the other thing. We don't want to mute or delay somebody's process in building or growing their new venture. You want to fulfill on the service immediately. The moment you sign up, you could build a business card and a landing page for your business as you're walking into the bank that afternoon. And then you can show them, yep, this is my website. Here's the page. Here's the URL. You know, oh, here's my digital business card. There you go. You've got both of those things, Danon. So if you are encountering businesses that are like, hey, I'm coming up to this objection when I'm going out looking for funding because they're saying I don't have enough of a presence online, I don't have a website, all that type of stuff. Great, I've got a solution that can help fulfill that or solve that problem for you. Let me show you how. You know what I mean? And then you say, there's two options, right? Like you can do it yourself. It's very cost effective for any small business owner starting up. Cost is a major concern for a lot of them. You know what I mean? Or you can say, hey, you can hire me. I'll come and do it for you. Or there's a community of people. There are many people within the Elify community who will gladly offer a service of helping people build cards and build pages. And I've seen on Wednesdays, even people in the comments sort of, hey, I need somebody to help me build my card and I'm willing to pay for it. Awesome. You know what I mean? This is a high value skill, in my opinion, that we are all developing the more we play around with the platform, because there's always somebody looking to do what you've already done, and you can then become their guide. And there's value in that. There's value in that. So don't lose sight of that. I hope that helps, Dan. Great. Anna, go ahead.
I'm bouncing around here.
You're good.
Danon, if you look at my Zoom picture here, it has my URL right there, AnnaMBrooks.com, and that is my digital business card. So when you go there, you see my hub link card, and that gets me connected to you. So, and thank you, James, for all the little bits that you do that make this a full package, and for shouting out to Seekwise Council. We appreciate you. I do want to say one of the concerns is that people are expecting leads to come into their door, and you have to work for leads.
You do.
You know, you have to pay attention to your marketing aspects. So you need to teach people how to go into their Go Elify or their Elify account and look up that they're getting connections.
Yeah.
One of the things that I brought up yesterday with this gal was, hey, you're still getting orders through this card, and it's going to be dead in about 5 days.
Yeah.
Why would you, this thing can go global. It's still working for you. Don't you earn royalties on this thing? And it was like, whoa. And you're doing another one, right? And we can, so, but thank you, because I needed that tag information again. I have started reaching out to at least 10, it's a minimum of 10 people a day that I haven't talked to for a while. I'm sending out the digital business card, the invitation to Wednesday nights, a little overview, etc. Now I'm going to date those tags. I'm not just going to tag that I did it. I'm going to date the tag that I did it. So I remember that in 2 weeks' time, I need to send it again. Yep. And I need to send it again and get to my 5 to 11 times before they join. Yep. Thank you.
No, thank you, Anna. And I think this is a good reminder for all of us, okay? You remember the old, if you build it, they will come type of thing, right? I mean, again, that's not the case, guys. That's not the case. If you build a web page, a website, a landing page, a microsite, a sales funnel, doesn't matter, any type of marketing media out there, you still need eyeballs to come and see that. I would say the internet is paved with sites that got built that never saw a piece of traffic come to them. You can go back all the way to mid 90s before the .com bubble. And this is the thing, right? We want to build something worth sharing, and then we want to get out there and share it. And this is why you have your hyperlinks. This is why you have your QR codes, right? This is why we have tap cards for offline sharing. We want to start driving eyeballs to our audience. We want to use the marketing material in the marketing and sales that we're doing. You can buy paid ads online, and you could link it to your shuffle cards. At the end of the day, you don't want to stop at building your card. You want to get out there and share it and drive traffic, eyeballs to see the content that's on your card so that they can do the goal or fulfill the goal that you created the card to support, right? If your goal on your card is to generate leads, great. You can have a lead capture form on your card, but if you're not driving traffic or targeting an audience to put that card in front of, you may not get leads filled out. You know what I mean? The other thing, Anna, that you mentioned is evergreenness. These cards, somebody could put, I mentioned this a while ago. I sold a car, I don't know, it has to be 3 years ago. I never got rid of the card, and I still see traffic coming in on the card. Somebody viewed your card, because they wanted to look at the listing and look at all the photos and stuff like that are on the card. Anna, to your point, somebody posts out in a social group, let's say, about a product offering. Maybe it's their book, right? And even if it's generating 1 order a month, 2 orders a month, 3 orders a month, guys, the work has already been done. You're still reaping the benefits of that. And I see people who sometimes lose sight of that all the time. That's the power of the internet, right? We all want to have that thing that we create that works for us while we're sleeping or while we're focusing our energy on something else. So I think the big thing here is create something worth sharing and then get out there and use it. Use it. You know what I mean? Get out there and share it and put it in front of people and post it into groups and anywhere where you see that it's relevant. It's not necessarily about spamming, right? But it's about using it as its intended tool. If you're meeting people, man, every time you're meeting people, if you're not connecting them to them with your digital business card, that's a missed opportunity. Missed opportunity for you and your primary business, missed opportunity for you and your Elify business, you know? So that's really what I want people to be thinking about as well. All right. Guys, I know we've got about 7 minutes left for today's call. Any other tips, tricks, celebrations, or things like that anybody wants to add? If not, I've got a little bit of stuff that I wanted to sort of close with. Anybody? Okay. I want to briefly talk, and then Guy, I'll throw it over to you to wrap everything up, housekeeping or anything like that, things that we have upcoming. But I wanted to talk about a process, a system that Guy and I have been implementing for years that has served us well. And it's something that can be layered on to pretty much anything that you guys might be doing if you haven't already implemented this, okay? And we talked about it early on with the sprint planning. It's the system of how we run our week. And so one of the things that I do at the end of the week on Fridays is I take an opportunity to do a retrospective on what happened this week for you. And we are all doing multiple things. I want you to think in terms of your Elify business. If you're on this call, you're an Elify affiliate. I want you to think in terms of your Elify business. And the benefit of a retrospective is to take a look back, because hindsight is 20/20, and see what you actually did this week. Right? Where did you focus your energy this week? And the big question is, where did you focus your energy on Elify this week? You know, did you come check out any social stuff on Monday? Did you, participate on Tech Tuesday? Did you promote the Wednesday networking and join us on Wednesday? Right? Did you check out the interviews on Thursday? Are you coming to these calls on Friday? Most importantly, guys, those things aren't even the high priority tasks in my mind. I mean, the networking event and promoting the networking event, I would say, is the highest priority. The other calls, those are for your benefit, but they're not serving you as an affiliate as much as some of those other activities. The other thing is the outreach, the follow-up, the support that you do within the people that you've directly referred to the application. Take an opportunity to do a retro on that. Retrospective doesn't need to take you more than a couple minutes. At max, a retro shouldn't take you more than 30 minutes, right? What did I do? Where does this come from? It happens in technology all the time. But Guy, I even think back to our athletic days where you're sitting there saying, hey, we just played this sporting event, and now we're going to come back and review how well we played. Where did we make mistakes? What were our missed opportunities? How can we get better? A retrospective is all about understanding what you did that you cannot change, not dwelling on it, but then moving forward from it and implementing the change that you saw as missed opportunity or as areas for improvement. If you're not doing that in all areas of your life, there's a missed opportunity there, right? A retrospective isn't just specific to Elify and your Elify business. Guys, I do a retrospective weekly, like, did I get my workouts in? Did I focus on my health area of my wheel of life, or my finance area of my wheel of life, or my spiritual area of my wheel of life, let alone my business, career, finance, that type of stuff. So retro is important. Why? Because that sets us up for our plan. And this is the cycle, right? Do a retro, look for areas of improvement, make a plan on the changes or adjustments you need to make, and do that planning before the week starts next week, right? And then set yourself up for success in the following week. And if you do that consistently over time, you will hone in and improve over time and be headed in the right direction. So why I called out retro today is Friday. It's the end of the week. A lot of us are going to be going into the weekend. It's also close to the end of the month, guys. I mean, I hope everybody had an amazing
day. Today's the end of the month,
guys. So, how was your month? If you're doing retros, you don't just do them on a weekly basis. Like, what was your goal for the month? Have you set a goal? If you haven't started setting goals within your Elify business, maybe that's where you need to start, right? Is it, hey, I want to get 4 referrals a week, 4 referrals a month, 4 referrals a year? What does that goal look like for you? Because no referrals doesn't help your Elify business, right? And setting an objective, a big, hairy, audacious goal to get out there and say, hey, I'm going to help 5 people next week solve problems in their business using this technology. And that's going to be my goal. And I'm going to do that in combination of all the stuff that I'm doing on all the other things that I'm working on and all my other ventures and projects. But I'm going to make a diligent effort to focus on achieving that goal. Because if you want to be successful here at Elify, you have to understand there are specific revenue generating activities that result in that success, right? If you don't ever talk to anybody or introduce them to Shuffle, they're never going to become one of your referrals. So take an opportunity to do your retro. You can carry that over to all areas of your life. Let that direct your plan for next week. Take an opportunity to will, skill, and refill over the weekend. And then look at your plan. Another aspect, right? Anybody else prepare for the next day the night before? If you don't do that, like, guys, there's a huge opportunity there, right? I'll give you one example. We set out the kids' clothes for the next day, right when we're putting them to bed. Why? So we're not scrambling the morning chaos when everybody's getting breakfast trying to decide who's wearing what, you know? Or maybe you're trying to implement a workout. You set out your workout clothes the night before. You know, guy, like, we work out first thing in the morning. I don't want to be in the dark scrambling around trying to figure out where my socks are at. You know what I mean? We can always prepare the night before. What meetings do you have coming up, right? What calls are you going to make? Who are you following up with? All of that gives you time to process and think about it. And then you can just do a quick high-level snapshot in the morning. Anything changed over the last 12 hours, you know, from last night? Nope. Okay, then I already know what my plan is. I think using your plan in sizable chunks is very beneficial, a week at a time, right? Think about the month at the beginning of the month. So we're going into next month. What's your month goal? You don't have to spend a bunch of time because we don't want to be working on week 4 of the month. We then want to get as quickly as possible to what's the next week look like, and then compress that down to what's the next day look like. Guys, we can't work in Tomorrowland, right? We can plan for Tomorrowland. We can only work in now time. Right. And the only thing that we have right now that we can work with, and Guy, you talk about this all the time, it's the choices that we make in the now time and the actions that we take. And I'll sort of close it in saying this. We were talking about, I was thinking in my mind, like, we all have superpowers. And my kids got this book, and I'm going to tell everybody a superpower that every one of us has in common. And the book that my kids have is like, Danny has the power to choose. Guys, we've got the power to choose, and we make choices every single day, thousands of times a day. And all we have to do is get consistent in making the right choice that's going to serve ourselves and serve others, and be consistent in that ongoing. And if you get too overwhelmed with looking at it in a year or a quarter or a month or even a week, like, get it down to the day. And Guy, we've even gotten it down to sometimes you're doing it in the moment, right? Each event, each activity, all of those types of things. When you start operating in that area, man, the power that can have and how it takes you forward, it's like you wonder why you never did it before. So I want to encourage everybody, do a retrospective, think about your goals for the upcoming month ahead, break it down to what your plan is going to be for next week, starting on Monday. Then take it one day at a time and just do your best. Just do your best. And it's all about progress, not perfection. Fail your way forward. You can always do a retrospective next Friday and say, I didn't implement it this week. I tried to plan for it next week. I didn't implement it again, but I'm going to implement it. And then start implementing it. Okay, Guy, I don't know if you have anything else to add.
Danon, you had one last question. Feel free.
It's really like 2 questions. I just want to know, like, when does the interview come on? The interviews, what days is that?
Yeah, on Thursdays, we will drop any new interviews. I know Guy's getting ready to sit down for an interview now, and you can go on the YouTube channel, Danon, and watch any of the past interviews there. I think we've got Kimberly, we've got Kathy, we've got Michael Ray. I did one. And then if you know anybody who you'd like to see an interview from, a thought leader, guys, even if it's yourself, like, let us know. We'd love to sit down and have a conversation with you, mainly for the benefit of not just highlighting you and exposing you to the community, but to share the knowledge that you've acquired over time to other people. So Danon, check that out. The live ones will drop on Thursdays if there is one coming up, and the replays are on the YouTube channel.
Okay, thank you.
And to that, we were very ambitious with the aspect of having one every week. Not the fact that we couldn't find him. It was the fact that Kimberly came back to us and is like, there is so much information that needs to be shared from each one of these that we're not doing each interviewer justice in getting their information out. So we're actually spreading those to be every other week. We'll run those for a time frame. And then there's potential, because I believe she had mentioned she's got over 32 reels that she pulled from ERs. So we know people also aren't going to sit down a lot of the time. The mass majority of people aren't going to sit and watch an hour interview. They might watch a 30-second reel, a 2-minute reel. So that's where those are going to be going moving forward, and then potentially getting more and more of those out. It may even move to a monthly interview and just getting a lot longer of an interview, but a lot more content pulled from those interviews. ER, to wrap it up, as an affiliate, all we ask is share. Is the only thing that needs to be done as an affiliate is to share the information. It should be that simple. You had also mentioned, and I believe Anna had asked for the title of the book, of your kids' book, The Power to Choose, and retrospective, and all these different types of things, and practicing all comes down to self-confidence. And what self-confidence really is keeping promises to yourself. If you're confident in doing things, you've kept promises to yourself. I believe that the lack of self-confidence is because people keep not doing the things that they said that they would do.
Yep.
They have to prepare, right? Every evening we get our day planned for the next day. It might be run a little case study on yourself. Do that one night, and then the next night, don't prepare, and see how that day goes.
Yeah.
Compare the 2 days against each other. See how effective you are. Preparation is going to be a massive key in reaching success, to know what you're doing when you're doing it, to also prepare and have things that are probably going to come up, time set aside for those, but not time to jump on it right then.
Yep.
Set that time up to say, you know what, someone sends a 911 text, they need to talk right now. I'm staying focused. I'm doing what I'm doing, because in 30 minutes, I've got time scheduled where I can reach out to you, or maybe 2 hours. Don't be so reactive in the text messages, in the emails. Stay focused on that element. Stay true to yourself. Have that self-confidence. And it's inevitable. You'll move in the direction that you want to move in. We talked early about comfort zone. We've got to get out of our comfort zones if we want to be successful. Success is not comfortable. It's not a fun thing to have to go through, because there's going to be barriers and hurdles and mountains and snowstorms and all different types of things that you have to go through, and you have to go through them in order to be successful. You have to be prepared for it, and you have to have the self-confidence to get through it.
I love it. Guy, I want to close in giving this one quote, because everything you just said, I think we can sum up. If you've ever read the book Born to Win, Zig Ziglar book, right? I truly think that's one of his opuses. It's right before he passed away. It sort of sums up his 50 years of coaching and knowledge stuff, guys. I truly think everybody has the potential to win. right? We all have potential, and potential is an amazing thing, but only when we plan to win and then prepare to win can we expect to win. And if you guys want to have the expectation that you'll win in anything that you're doing, you better make sure you're prepared and you have a plan. Because if you don't have those two things, that expecting to win is just a wish or a hope, guys. But if you are planning and consistent about your plan, to Guy, your point may not go as planned all of the time. In most of the cases, that's how it is, right? Your plan is your roadmap and your compass. Your preparation is making sure that you can execute everything on your plan. If you've got it on your plan and you aren't prepared to execute it, go out and get the knowledge or the skill in order to execute that thing in your plan. When you put those two things together, you can expect to win. And I think about that guy like Michael Jordan. Who are we going to give the ball to in the last second of the game to take the winning shot? You know what I mean? And he doesn't sit there in the moment saying, okay, I got to get ready to take this shot. I've taken this shot from the location I'm going to take it from so many times in practice and in preparation that when we have to execute that plan of the winning shot, because every now and then the game comes down to a tie game, it's like muscle memory, right? He just goes and he takes it. And more often than not, they go in because the expectation is there, because the preparation is there and the plan is there. So I really want you to think about that for yourself in anything that you're doing, and especially here for Elify. We will see you guys on Tuesday for Tech Tuesday. Keep a lookout on all of the social. If you want to be more involved in social, this is a huge opportunity for you guys to reshare, like, comment, repost, or get out on your own social and start posting. Use the hashtag GoElify. Guys, in the future, we're going to start looking that up. We can search social media for specific hashtags. I assure you, we're probably going to be one of the only groups using GoElify. So there are going to be certain things where we might run some contests, and I can search GoElify on certain platforms and see who participated in making those posts. So be aware of that little highlight of coming stuff to come soon. So,
Did
all
you
right,
say
guys.
challenge?
Yeah, right. We will see you guys next. If you need anything, please reach out. We're here to support each other. Talk to you guys soon. Have a great weekend. Take care, everybody.